What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? We are back for part 2, y'all, of our Tuffy Talk After Dark. With myself, Leighton Smith here, and Macon Adams here. If you haven't checked down part 1 yet of Tuffy Talk After Dark, make sure to go do that. But once again, just a reminder, Tuffy Talk After Dark is a series where it's basically a continuation from the Tuffy Talk Live Show we just completed, aka from the live show we just had on December 11th. And so again, anything we do not cover as a part of this episode, we probably covered either in part 1 of the Tuffy Talk After Dark, where we talked a lot more of the transfer portal news, and then and then everything else we kind of covered in the Tuffy Talk Live Show. But the main really things we're going to cover here is in terms of talking about men's and women's basketball, and then also talking a little bit about outside of revenue sports even as well. But Megan, so want to kind of talk a little bit here about women's basketball, how it really is kind of crazy that, like, if I had told you 2 months ago, hey, just so you know, NC State women's basketball is going to go 10-0 with wins over UConn, with wins over Colorado, and we're now number 3 in the country. Like, that's crazy to think about. Like, where we were, just 10 months ago, looking at, how the season ended last year, and you're thinking, man, what's going on? And then here you are. And it seems like that last year was kind of like 2019 in football, where it was like, okay, maybe it's just an anomaly, just off year. Yeah, and now you're like acting like it never even happened, like not even skipping a beat here, and you're clicking on all sides right now. You're not relying on a player or two. And honestly, I've watched enough South Carolina women's basketball. I mean, because my wife went to South Carolina, and I'm a minority supporter of South Carolina, that I've watched enough of their games to go, there's not a team in the country I'm afraid of. There's really not, like, in terms of that. I'm like, man, like, that team is going to be tough to get by. I'm sitting there saying,
right,
I think we have a good chance against every single team in the country, which at the end of the day is all you can ask for. You just want to be in the hunt. You just want to be, you want to be in the ring,
Sure, yeah. I mean, if you told me that we would be 10-0 with wins against UConn early, and I don't know what I would have thought about Colorado, because I just didn't know a lot. But right. I mean, if you had told me we would have had 2 top 10 wins, I think what was Colorado ranked? I can't remember off the top of my head.
Yeah, like
somewhere in the top
5.
Okay, like top 10. Top 10 easy.
Yeah,
so
something like that.
If you told me that and one of them was a UConn win, I would have thought, if you say how are we looking, what do you think it's going to look like? I said, I guess we're going to be playing for a national championship. I mean, I would say, are we Elite 8 bound or what? I mean, I would be thinking that, because State, when was the last time State started 10-0? I don't know if that's been figured out yet by the stats at women's basketball, but that hasn't happened at any point yet under Coach Westmore. So
I'm sure it has it not? Are you sure about that?
I don't know. Has it? I don't know if it has or hasn't. I don't remember.
I'm sure during the peak Alyssa Cunane years, I'm sure it happened. Maybe not Cunane's last year, because we lost the opening game to South Carolina. But
I'll have to go look at that then. But I would think, okay, well, we're playing for a national championship again, and definitely maybe we're going to go back and win another ACC championship, because I can't imagine there'd be that many more teams that have that kind of resume in the country. And, obviously right now we're ranked 3rd in the country, so that clearly shows that. But it's exciting. You're thinking, like, I just think you reemphasize Westmore is a really good coach, and he's a really good recruiter. To get the girls here that can play like that, and to just bring it out of them, to coach them up to that point, that's really good.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and again, I'm like, every single year I always, as making me buy the, the ACC tournament, all the tickets or whatever. Like, I just purchase all the tickets together, and then, if I, go some, great. If not, then I give them away or sell them or whatever. And last year I held on to them, being like, okay, yeah, well, we'll see what happens. And then, and then now I'm sitting here like, hey, I might be going to the game on Sunday, being like, I mean,
you don't know.
Awesome. It's a great feeling.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, I don't know how many, if there's really any other team that's better than NC State playing right now, other than maybe like South Carolina or whoever it is. Like, they're just not.
Iowa, but
there's Iowa said, it's just those teams are elite, and you didn't think State was going to be doing that. No. And they've got. I thought they were a good team, but I didn't think necessarily they'd be like top 5 or 3rd in the country with a chance to keep winning and be like something like 2 or even 1. Like it's pretty amazing what they're doing right now, and um, I think it's if they can keep it up, how crazy and great would it be for them to go undefeated in non-conference play if they could do that and going into ACC play like that? I mean, that would be monumental for this team. So
absolutely. Well, and just to kind of recap in terms of what's going on in the ACC in general. So the only other undefeated ACC team is Miami. They're 8-0, but they've really played Jacksonville, Fordham, Southern, Colgate, ETSU, at Mississippi State, NJIT, and DePaul. So they've really played
some cupcakes.
Nobody.
Yeah.
They've played nobody so far. And then the one that going into the season, I would have said that team's going to probably win it all once again is Virginia Tech, and they have lost to Iowa 80-76, and they lost to LSU by 18.
And both those teams are very good teams,
very good
right?
teams, yeah.
Very good teams. And State could easily be in there, but the thing is, State got the job done against 2 top 10 teams, and Virginia Tech did not. And I mean, Virginia Tech could be just figuring themselves out and get to the point, on January 7th and beat us. But NC State's at home. Got to play Virginia Tech. I would take State's chances at this point right now. So.
Well, and again, at the end of the day, all I'm saying is, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, there's no doubt we're better than Virginia Tech.
No,
there's
no doubt
we're going to beat them.
Well,
no. That's not what I'm going to be saying. But
right.
because obviously hyping them up right now. But at the end, because I'm saying, Elizabeth Kidley, has a very good chance of being right back up there in terms of ACC Player of the Year again.
Right.
She's phenomenal. But I'm sitting here saying like, hey, if we faced them in the ACC championship game, I think it's a pick'em game and. Let's see what happens. And if we lost, okay. I can live with that. Like,
right.
if we made it to a championship game and lost, I can live with that after where we were just, 10 months ago. But again, it's even crazier as well that even though, it's kind of a one-off because there's only 2 teams in the ACC that have played each other, which is Clemson and Duke, that Duke right now is actually towards the bottom of the ACC right now, which again, that was a team that was red hot last year and returned a lot of players. Actually had the highest recruiting class in their school's history, and right now they're 6-4, and they lost to Clemson 80-64 back on December 7th. So man, it's really crazy how things have churned just from 9-10 months ago. It's really crazy.
But State's got, I'm looking here, 6 more ranked opponents they have to play. They've got to play Virginia Tech twice, but like in ACC play, I'm looking here, Florida State 22, Virginia Tech 16. They got to play Virginia Tech twice. Miami 24, UNC 25, Louisville 18, Notre Dame 14. Like, ACC is really good this year, guys. Any one of those teams could win, win anything in the ACC. But I think getting 12-0, being able to have that on your resume for NCAA is going to be huge for NC State. I think we 100%. Mentioned it on our previous in the live stream how South Florida next opponent that'll be the first real road test that we've had this season, and that'll be tough for State, but they'll have to figure that out. And beyond that, I think it's Old Dominion, and then it's like ACC play. So really good team. I think what's really encouraging is on any given night you're getting stuff from different players. Like River Baldwin could take over and has taken over in some games. And then you have the triple-double by Zoe Brooks or Sanaya Rivers going off against UConn and making Paige Beckers look like she was a lesser player. So this is like a very it makes me kind of think of the men's team, but just playing at a more elite level nationally right now.
Absolutely. 100% agree with that.
Before we continue, I want to take a quick second to tell you about our sponsor, Flatlands Jessup Insurance Group, that has your whole world covered, with agents in 5 offices throughout eastern North Carolina to help you decide how much coverage you need. Offering policies for home and auto, recreational vehicles, commercial, crop, health, life, and employee benefits. They are able to combine options to find a comprehensive solution that works for you. Flatlands Jessup protects the things you love so you can spend less time worrying and more time enjoying them. Find them on Facebook and Instagram at Flatlands Jessup. You can also visit their webpage at www.flatlandsjessup.com. So please make sure to go and check them out.
So now let's switch on over here to men's basketball here, and I know we talked a lot about on the live show, but you know, I think the biggest question, really again where we're at right now is, like right now, UNC's like I think the ACC is wide open. Would you agree with me on that, Macon? I think UNC right now, I mean, being
Yeah,
number 9
I
in the
think so.
country is kind of probably the team to beat right now. But I mean, they lost to UConn, which I mean, again, UConn's defending national champion, so it's not like it's a bad loss. But I mean, Duke, who I think everybody was saying, oh, like Duke's gonna be the team to beat. They're returning AC
Heck yeah.
champion, and they're returning most of their guys back. Like they're gonna be a team to beat, and they started off pretty sluggish. So
Well, to me,
I
the
mean,
team that surprises me the most is Clemson right now. I mean, I
Clemson's
know for reference that's where Jack Clark from last year's team.
9-0.
But they're 9-0. They're undefeated. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what? If it were the college football playoffs, they probably wouldn't make it late. So there you go. Yeah, that makes me so mad still. But but no, like this is right now. I think I'm looking here at standings. NC State is 5th in the ACC right now. It looks like just on preliminary standings there. Yeah, it could go any which way. Wake Forest just got their center from Gonzaga, Efton Reed, to clear, and that's gonna be a big deal for Wake Forest. Carolina, I'm not really sure who they are right now. Lost to Villanova. UConn and Villanova. Did they beat? They lost to Villanova too. So Miami. I like Miami this year personally. I think Miami getting Matthew Cleveland from FSU is a big deal. So, really any of these teams there. I think Boston College is not necessarily the worst team in the world. They have Quentin Post is a really good center for Boston College. They're a hard team to come, to kind of keep building back up. But I think there's like 6 or 7 teams that really could win the ACC this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if any one of them. I think the way Clemson's playing, I think Virginia's quietly doing what Virginia does. But I would be surprised to see UNC Miami. I really think Wake Forest could be sneaky. Duke, of
especially
course,
with the Gonzaga center transfer. That's big for him.
Yeah, just with Duke too. Duke's just got to figure themselves out. But I think it's or NC State. I didn't say them. I really think it's open this year, and no one is obvious. But I think the biggest surprise has got to be Clemson right now. They're first in the ACC. They're undefeated. They're just taking care of business, one game at a time, and they're just not. They're not giants right now for me to think about beating.
No.
So that's why I say that. We'll see what happens, but it'll be good.
No, exciting times for sure. Switching on over now. So the big news that NC State men's soccer has announced their new head football coach, Mark Hubbard, transfer from University of New Hampshire, which I'm pulling up the stats again right now that I had.
Yeah, I can get those story wise there. He's got a 200 career record, 232 to 52 to 37. He at New Hampshire, he has basically a 75% win percentage. He has 115 wins to 32 losses. I think that's the number there. National champion, right? It says he's just to have a coach playing a national championship. I imagine they looked at the top 25 and said one of these things is not like the other, and how is New Hampshire up there like that? So,
well, and kind of a cool thing. That's typically how Debbie Alb most of the time would do her coaching.
Northern Illinois, are they in the Orange Bowl? How does that happen? So
exactly. But the other thing too, which I think is really cool though, is he is at his time in New Hampshire, his 9 years, he was 53-3-7 at home, which I love. I think it's at the end of the day, protecting your home field is huge, and especially too. I mean, with your own fans, they're like at the end of the day, if I can tell NC State fans, hey, if you go to a men's soccer game, we have a 80% likelihood. I mean, not saying that we do, but I mean, what he did in New Hampshire. I mean, he won about 80% of his games at home. Like that makes a big difference. If I'm saying to no matter who we're playing, we have probably a pretty good chance of winning at home. And that's a pretty great thing right there.
Right.
And people might say, well, it's University of New Hampshire. Like this guy ain't proven. Like no, like he had University of New Hampshire as a top 5 team in the country.
The University of New Hampshire. Do you know University of New Hampshire for anything else? Like I don't.
It's men's soccer. Yeah, that's basically their focus. Yeah. So. I mean,
and you got to believe State has more resources than New Hampshire does. So
exactly. So and more fan support, like then I can think that's one thing with NC State fans that I know we all know is at the end of the day we love winners. We love seeing teams win, and we get behind it. And so I mean, at the end of the day, if you see a little bit of smoke, NC State fans are going to fuel that smoke until that fire starts to blaze. So. And especially because I think that, you look at down the road, you look at, UNC and, how they have, like all these team national championships that I think for NC State fans, you're saying, hey, listen, if we could compete, on the national championship level in more sports, I'm here for it.
Right.
Right now we have tennis. Right now you have wrestling. Right now you have, women's basketball and, you name it. Like, I'm okay with adding another team to that list. If that's men's soccer, sounds good to me. I'm all in, because again, it's not like you need a lot of resources to be at that elite level for men's soccer. It's not like you need $25,000 a player. You don't need that.
Right.
A lot of the guys that play on these teams are from overseas, so it's a whole different ball game. So I'm hugely saying for all NC State fans that again, just make sure to go and support Coach Hubbard and the men's soccer team. I think huge things are coming for this program. Excited to see it.
Yep.
So 2 more things here that I completely forgot to mention as well. So the commitment of Elijah Groves, 4-star linebacker commit, it's kind of a funny story that how he's from Tennessee, and his final 2 when he was getting recruited back in the summer was Kentucky and NC State. It was really looking like he was going to commit to NC State, but then all of a sudden, a few days close to his commitment date, winds kind of start change. He committed to Kentucky, and then what was it, about a week and a half ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, he decommitted from Kentucky.
Oh, I think it was less than that. I think it was a week ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So a week ago he decommitted, and then maybe 3-4 days after that, apparently right when he decommitted, apparently Tony Gibson literally got on a plane and went and saw him, and then 3 days after he decommitted, he committed to NC State. So I mean, any thoughts? There. I'm sitting here saying maybe he saw again the trajectory.
High upside guy to me.
High upside guy, but also you're looking at the programs, which I know is again it's not necessarily an equal comparison because obviously SEC versus ACC. But I mean, you're seeing that they brought in like all these guys. We're looking at a big year, and they went 6-6, 7-5, whatever it was that Kentucky went. But then you look at NC State and you say, hey, this was a program that was supposed to be rebuilding. They just went 9-3 and finished 3rd all by themselves in the ACC. Like, man, if I can come in there and with the guys that they already have and they're going to bring in,
right?
Like, because I think with Elijah Groves as well, you're saying, hey, listen, if you have a chance to be the starter, but at the end of the day, you're going to get minutes. Like, you're going to play, from day one, which is I think huge for any guy, but also you're going to play day one for a team that has a legitimate shot at ACC championship next year.
Yeah, I think Groves is a guy. You don't just go fly over there. I think I heard that Gibson flew to go see him. You don't do that unless you really want this guy, and they wanted him. Yeah. I think he was a guy who there was some word about. Maybe he had kind of committed to State, and then he just flipped it. He just kind of decided he's going to go to Kentucky, and there's a lot of stuff going on social media about people really upset. State fans are upset with that, and then he comes back to State now. Imagine how much more frustrated or upset the coaches might have been, and they still wanted to go after this guy, and that's a big deal. So you can see why he must be a really good talent, and with his athleticism that he has, you watch his high school highlights. He's a big time player. I just think he may need some development from just kind of harnessing and reining that in a little bit, just kind of getting to understand the system. But State's going to need linebackers because Peyton Wilson's obviously is going to get drafted, and then you've got Jalen Scott who got He's graduated. Maybe he gets to play. He gets drafted in the NFL. So we'll see. But I like what I see in Groves. I think one site has him as the highest ranked high school player in the country or in our class. Excuse me. So yeah.
Well, and I think that's another thing too is the fact that that it's obvious that Tony Gibson is one of the best linebacker coaches in the country. I think he just got the award actually for the best linebacker coach in the country. And again, looking at what he did with Peyton Wilson, looking at what Peyton Wilson has become, being basically almost the same general start as Elijah Groves, 4-star guy, a guy that's not, talked about, on the national level, but he's a guy that, has all the stats, has, he's a 4-star guy, and then he can be developed as, being an elite linebacker. He has that ceiling. There's no doubt about it. So, I think that was a big pull too. So, but anyway, the last thing I wanted to talk about was the news of Kevin Concepcion getting announced to the freshman All-American team first team freshman All-American team per The Athletic, which I don't think is much of a shocker, being that he led the whole country for freshmen in receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. So, not really too much of a shocker there, but I'm telling you, man, we talked about, I know, remembering, the first couple games, and I think it was on the live show with you, me, and Greg, and talking about, man, Casey has that top 5 upside, and all of us were like, oh, I don't know, but I'm saying there is no ceiling that I don't think like Torrey Holt's ceiling. I think is, I don't see any reason why not so far, man.
Yeah, he's a slot guy. He's not going to be like your outside perimeter receiver kind of thing. No. He's just a guy you play all over the field. And
exactly.
He first team All-American from a freshman standpoint. He could win the Sean Alexander Freshman of the Year award nationally, which I think that is awarded. That's they give that award out on December 29th. I think is the date. So the day after the bowl game.
Okay.
What's crazy to me is that State brought in one receiver in 2 years. And I don't think that was by choice. They wanted to bring in more guys, but they got one receiver in 2 years. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that was KC.
And
man, they hit that nail on the head, man. He has been. They couldn't have gotten any better. And it's crazy because I don't know if anybody saw this coming. And I bet you KC might say how he did, but I don't know, man. What he's able to do this season, State using him the right way that he needed to be, not just kind of pigeonholing him to a certain way they think he should be. That's a big deal for them, for KC. So I think he could win this role. Maybe he should win this award. We'll see what happens from there.
Well, because keeping in mind that, he has to play 2 more years in college in order to qualify for the draft at least. And I'm sitting here saying, that I think that Wolfpack Nation has said in unison that whatever it takes to get KC to stay at NC State, they're willing to do it, including myself as well. I think all of us at Tuffy Talk, are in agreement. It's whatever it takes money-wise to keep him here, all for it. So I'm saying if you give me 2 more years of Kevin Concepcion, I'm not saying right now he is the greatest. I'm saying that he has the ceiling to leave as the greatest wide receiver. He has that ceiling. Now he's nowhere close to it right now, but I'm sitting here saying from what we've seen on the field, the confidence he plays with, the skill level he has, the ceiling is a roof.
Yeah,
I'll take it from MJ.
Oh
man,
my gosh, I can't believe you just said that. So, no, he's a guy that it sounds like he loves State. And as a fan,
he does love State.
When you have a guy that talented, who they said, I think Tom Bolsa came out and said how much he got offers from all over the place.
Oh yeah.
He chose to stay at State, and it has to be more.
He chose quickly.
It has to be more than and it's more than money than that, right? You're not taking the larger dollars right there. You're taking a lot more than that, and you're taking about. I don't know what those other intangible things are. Maybe they are tangible to KC, but I really he's a guy you want to build your team, your program around going into the next.
So gladly do it.
Your next 2 years, and he's an exciting player. When you're a recruit, you want to play with guys like KC. I mean,
Amen.
especially when a year or two ago you had a lot of players that were, really big time North Carolina players that, like Grimes. Like Grimes was a 4-star receiver by a lot of sites and picked Wake Forest, and now he can now he's coming to state, and I bet you $10 that the whole Kevin Concepcion performance was a factor for that.
Totally.
I know he's not committed yet, but I saw, Dalen Smothers, Hollywood Smothers, his nickname. He was a 2-time North Carolina Player of the Year before he got hurt. I think he didn't play senior year, if I'm not mistaken. But he came down to NC State in Oklahoma. He was high school teammates, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's correct, with KC. So he's in the portal, but you got to imagine there's some level of factor there going on. So I don't know what Smothers will do, but I can bet you he's thinking about state. So
100%.
he's a player you want to play with. And you mentioned we don't have a quarterback just yet as of 11 p.m. on December 11th. But you got like a great receiver, an elite level receiver that you can throw to. It's exciting. So really hope KC wins that Sean Alexander Award, because then if that's the case, that'll be 3 new-time winners of first-time winners of awards at NC State. It'll be Peyton Wilson with the Bednarik. It'll be Joe Shimko with the Manley Award, and then it would be KC with the Sean Alexander Award. So that would be really awesome for state program. That's a huge recruiting selling point right there.
Well, and again, on top of it, what was it, 4 or 5 years ago, back in 2018, we also had the best center of the year with Garrett Bradbury too. So
hey, and maybe Zeke Carell comes in and wins another Remington. I would love to see that.
I'm saying I'm putting I would highly hope that they put Zeke on the phone with Garrett Bradbury during the recruiting process. I would hope that. So
yeah.
I mean that's an easy selling point right now, being like, bro, like, come to say, man. But anyway, and then the last piece which I'll add, which we won't even talk on, but also got to give a shout out to Pac Pro Justin Jones of the Chicago Bears getting voted for Walter Payton Man of the Year nominee. So make sure y'all, if you don't mind, do us a big favor. Go on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, and look up Justin Jones, and there's links where fans can vote for him to win the award. So please do us a big favor. Go and do that and support Justin Jones, Pac Pro. He's had a phenomenal career in the pros so far, and again, he's done so much in the community, which we love to see, and it really embodies NC State, and he's doing a great job being a great ambassador for NC State. So very proud of him. So let's go support him, y'all. Making any last comments here, man, before we wrap this up, bud?
No, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think that's 2. I think Russell Wilson is for the Broncos, and Justin Jones is. AJ Cole, he's not for the Raiders, is he?
No, he should be though.
Yeah, I thought he might be another guy, but I'm just there's a lot of really good players, right now in NC State and the pros for NFL. But just a kind of little thought there. I think just as another comment, ladies, overall, I'm excited to see. Since we're talking about football right at this moment, like what the offseason is going to look like for State, and I think fans need to realize that how much of an impact they can make on building the program the way to winning championships. It's just by I know it sounds like a cliche, but just the donating the money and that kind of thing to help with NIL is a huge deal. It's not just giving money to football players. If you wanted to have a conversation and look into what Savage Wolves or Pack of Wolves does, how they work with the players to educate them on how to manage their money, how you want them to be influenced in the community, those kinds of things. Like even they give game day experiences for you as a fan. I've heard stories about how maybe a player might go to your kid's soccer game or something like that. Those are kind of things that make you feel included with the team rather than just, I'm just going to pay some money and then you guys can do that. I mean, some people do that, but just to reemphasize, if you are thinking about it, definitely reach out to us, reach out to the guys at Savage Wolves, Pack of Wolves, but there's always great ways to donate there and to be a part of that team at Savage Wolves and Pack of Wolves. So be sure to do that. I know we've posted links before, but they're online everywhere, and no gift and no I guess contribution is too big or too little. They are valuable pieces. I just had somebody today talk about how remind me about how they had like a 1,000 people give small dollar amounts. They could make a huge difference for state. So we'll see what happens. But I'm really excited where this football program's going. I'm excited to see what men's basketball and women's basketball does, to see what the new men's soccer coach can do for state. It's really exciting. As I say, the baseball schedule got released. We didn't really talk about that on this episode. We did in the live show. So really exciting stuff for NC State.
Yep. Couldn't have said it better myself, Macon. Appreciate you that. And yeah, y'all. So go support these NIL collectives, man. It goes to a great cause, really. And then at the end of the day, I mean, it's an investment in the players and in these programs. So make sure to go and do that. And also, if you want to, I mean, we've done interviews with Tom Lavolsi from Savage Wolves and Chris Fernakis now with Pack of Wolves here on the channel. So make sure to go look those up and check those out. If you want to go and check out these guys and what they're all about and their specific NIL collectives, make sure to go and check that out. And again, if you have any questions, let us know. But anyway, y'all, for us, thank you so much for tuning in. I really do appreciate all the amazing support, y'all. And, we said it at the beginning of part 1, but it really is amazing and phenomenal to see how much this platform has grown in the 3 years that's been around. And we, are so humbled by it and so appreciative for all the amazing support that Wolfpack Nation has given, all of our amazing supporters. It's been phenomenal. And we're super excited about, what the future has to hold. And at the end of the day, for us at Tuffy Talk, we're always going to continue to hold those values we've had since day one, which is, overall a very positive approach, very focused on all NC State sports, all student athletes that wear the red and white, and it doesn't even matter what sport they're playing or how much revenue they bring to the university. And we're always going to be that. So, because in the day, again, we're fans first, and that will always stay the way it is. But thank you all so much again for joining us. Again, if you want to continue to support us, if you haven't already, make sure to do a big favor, hit that free subscribe button, hit that notification bell. If you want to consider joining as a member of the channel to get access to exclusive emojis you can use in the comment section, as well as loyalty badges. If you hit that join button, you can join for only $1.99 a month, and you get access to those amazing features. And again, it goes a big way towards supporting us as well. And then make sure, if you haven't already, again, hit that like button, leave a comment down below in terms of what sport are you most excited about right now during this time where you have so many sports going on. Let us know in the comments, what sport are you most excited about right now? And then lastly, make sure to give us a follow, Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, y'all. But thank you all so much for joining in. We'll see y'all soon, and go Pack, y'all.
Go Pack.